Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I'm sorry I'm uploading this video late, very late today, because last night I was out late, seeing Earth play live in front of me. They played new stuff. They played even newer stuff. And they played extremely old stuff, but reworked it so that it sounds like the new stuff. It was pretty good. But we're going to do an album review here of the new Wu Lyf album, Go Tell Fire to the Mountain. Wu Lyf stands for World Unite Lucifer Youth Foundation, and they're a new band from the UK who I don't think I can review this album with at least going into their background a little bit and commenting on it, since it seems to be what everybody else is commenting on and focusing on. The band's early recordings and demos caught a lot of ears on the blogosphere with tracks like Scissors for Your Hair and Diamond Voices, and that pretty much got the ball rolling. But now the band's buzz has kind of hit this straightaway that many bands have before, where their popularity seems to be fueled by how little we know about them. They're turning down interviews, they're turning down live performances. They've rejected label support for this album, and they've had several music videos go viral building up to this release. It kind of makes me think of the I Am I, Who Am I video series when that was sort of at its peak of popularity. So with this group's ominous logo, the very semi-anonymity, the revolutionary imagery too, I'm just worried that the presentation is like here and the music is down here. The thing is, this band knows full well that the less you know about them, the more popular they're going to get. And as far as the whole denying a label thing goes, you know what? Any band for a small sum of money can record and independently release a record. A group that I like right now a lot, named Civil Civic, is raising cash to release their next LP currently, and they're pretty much there. I mean, since bands can do this so easily, the real power that labels have these days is in promotions. And since Wu Lyf is already popular, thanks to the blogosphere, thanks to these music videos, thanks to this buzz surrounding the mystery, why would they sign with a label? Why put a middleman in between you and the crowd of fans that you already have? That would not be a good business decision in the internet age. So, with the marketing strategy out of the way, what does the music on here sound like? Well, I will admit that I'm not exactly gaga over it. On here we've got bass, drums, guitar, vocals, and organ. And from what I've read about this LP, it was recorded in a church, so it has this really prominent, high ceiling kind of reverb just surrounding the music. And it only plays into the idea that Wu Lyf likes to veil themselves, because to me the reverb here doesn't add to the music as much as it does obscure it. Sometimes this echo, whether it be completely the church that they're in or maybe some added post-production, it makes this album a little difficult to decipher at some points. The instruments just bounce around wildly into each other and on top of each other, kind of like a 30-car pileup. To me, it's not like Wu Lyf uses reverb to create a unique or interesting sound. They just use it to kind of make the band sound bigger and more epic and more triumphant than they actually are. Go Tell Fire definitely tries to convey those emotions throughout every moment of this LP. There's not a moment here that doesn't try to be just overly dramatic and overly emotional. Especially with the lead singer's vocals here, which are iced really thickly on top of this album. And he screams, and he yelps like it is the end of the world. But I can't help but feel like these emotions are being kind of forced upon me. A part of my aggravation with this record is that the messy sounds make this kind of like a puzzle. But I don't quite see the point in putting the pieces together because I feel like I've seen the picture it makes before. I mean, it's not like Wu Lyf's style and songwriting goes above and beyond anything I've heard in recent memory. I mean, they pull from a lot of the same African and Caribbean sounds that Surfer Blood or even Vampire Weekend like to flash around in their music, the atmosphere here is comparable almost to a Walkman record. And there's nothing here really, for me, that is done with as much power or emotion as any track on Sucker's first EP, specifically the track It Gets Your Body Movin'. Almost every song on here reminds me of that Sucker's song. Some of the songs here are pretty decent. I gotta give it to these guys on Concrete Gold or maybe even Spitting Blood, but what bugs me is that most of the time these dudes drown out their songs, drown out their melodies with their aesthetic. Just turn up the obscurity, turn up the reverb, turn up the dramatic vocals, but it's not an aesthetic I'm really into. I love the fact that they try to pack such an emotional punch into their songs, but it's not exactly resonating with me. Maybe it is with you. And if it is, let me know. What do you think about this LP? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why? Do you feel that the whole marketing strategy is outweighing the music on this album? Or do you feel the album has measured up to the hype, I guess? I'm kind of feeling a strong 5 or a light 6 on this. It's not terrible. These guys are trying to go for something unique, and this album definitely does have a uniform sound to it. I'm just not into the sound. Anthony Fantano, Wu Lyf, Go Tell Fire to the Mountain, forever.